Good morning. All right, so just going to run you quickly through OreCorp. We're focused on the Nyanzaga Gold Project in northern Tanzania, where we see the opportunity to develop a large high-grade resource over a 12-year life of mine, producing north of 200,000 ounces a year. We've recently received our special mining licence, which had been a long time in coming, but we're very pleased that it's now with us. Associated framework agreements concluded as well. And in doing so now, we're going to focus OreCorp purely on Tanzania. So to that end, we've demerged our West Australian assets in a highly successful IPO with Solstice Minerals, and we have the right team to lead the company forward and a good, healthy cash balance. In terms of that board, dominated by former Equinox people, chaired by Craig Williams, who's with us today in the audience. And we've also then established a nice share registry dominated by institutions and high net worth individuals, and have kept a tight capital structure around about 400 million shares. So in terms of Tanzania, there's a lot been going on over the past 12 months. We kick-started the Definitive Study, which is all about the optimisation of the project, decarbonisation review, and also commenced work on a resettlement action plan and a small resource upgrade at Kilimani. Going forward over the next 12 months, you'll see us completing the front-end engineering design, project finance, and ultimately commencing in construction in about a year's time. So Nyanzaga, let's have a quick look at this. This is a view looking south onto Nyanzaga Hill from Kilimani Ridge. We've been in Tanzania now on and off for about the past 30 years. I lived there 5 years myself, and we've steadily seen the establishment of a very powerful gold industry. It's now the 6th largest gold producer in Africa. We've had a very, very strong relationship, which has guided us through some of the more recent developments in Tanzania. So when we look at that, 2015 saw a new president come to Tanzania with a gentleman called John Magufuli. He was a polarising character. He passed away last year, and succession planning saw the then vice president step up to become president. And we've seen a raft of sweeping change in that time. So really on a landmark speech on the 5th of April, Mama Samira, she's affectionately known, sought to try and basically woo investors back into the country by making a lot of sweeping statements. And also then, from our point of view, we immediately almost received our cabinet approval for our SML, which saw it granted by December of last year. Several cabinet reshuffles have seen a complete change in the government and a new regime. This has now brought foreign investors back, namely BHP with a $110 million investment into Kabanga Nickel. Barrick are also refurbishing and looking to open up Bulyanhulu, and also recently acquired some $60 million worth of licences around Bully. The East African oil pipelines, another sort of several $billion investment by Total Energy. And you're going to see Shell and a group of a consortium head by them are looking on a final investment decision on an LNG project. So lots of things changing in Tanzania, big positives. So where are we? We're in the southern lakes region of Tanzania in the East African Craton, where we've got a suite of greenstone belts hosting some of the largest gold mines in the world, namely at Geita, Bulyanhulu, North Mara. So we are with elephants in elephant country, in Nyanzaga, no shrinking violet at 3 million ounces at 4 grams. We've also got amazing infrastructure. There's roads, there's power. The power coming out of the grid now is predominantly green power. At 71% will be hydro by the end of the year, the remainder natural gas. We've got water out of the lake, skilled labour from Mwanza, also international airport, and really some of the best mining infrastructure we could wish to imagine for our project. Focus on the geology at Nyanzaga several years ago when we got into the project led to what was originally a low-grade resource being recut into a high-grade initiative. This was in response to then lower gold price. What this then provided for was for us to consider the project as both an open pit and underground proposition. There's an awful lot of drilling already done. We did our 35,000 metres testing our own ideas, and that lifted the resource category to 88% into measured and indicated. And this will now form the mining reserve for the definitive study. Where do we sit globally? Well, you can see there we quite an outlier both in contained ounces and grade. This is using a 1.5 gram lower cut. If you use a 0.5 gram, you're in the order of 5.5 million ounces. Distribution of that gold, it outcrops in the side of Nyanzaga Hill and then continues vertically 800 metres below surface. That drop off in the ounces per vertical metre is not a function of the mineralisation disappearing, but purely drill density. When we look then, fast forward 15 years from today, if we were to imagine the development of this project, we see an opportunity for both an open pit and underground. The open pit will provide around about 3 million tonnes a year, the underground 1. Those combined 4 million tonnes a year, roughly 2 grams to the tonne going into a standard CIL processing facility. Here we crush grind. Gravity will take out somewhere in the order of 20 to 30% of the gold, but we will then complete a whole oil leach to generate a gold doré. When we look at the production profile of the pre-feas, you saw clearly north of 10 years, over 200,000 ounces a year. This is going to define this asset from others in the space, and we're looking forward to working on that profile to bring metal forward as we conclude the DFS. The pre-feasibility study now numbers well out of date, but we'll give you some flavour of where we left this in 2017 whilst we waited for the mining licence. It saw a capital cost in the order of 300 million. This will obviously increase, and also operating costs around about $840 per ounce. So the definitive study is well underway now. We intend to conclude this in the September quarter. And again, it's all about optimisation and taking the new legislative regime, working that through our deposit, also looking at a higher gold price of around about $1,800 an ounce from the original study at $1,250. Project timeline there, really, realistically, from where we sit today, we would like to be in production in the first half of 2025, permitting, and I believe this is achievable and something that we're working towards. Whoops. So Nyanzaga, undoubtedly a large resource in its own right. 450 metres away, we've got the little Kilimani deposit. We've just done some recent drilling on this, lifted the resource category here. This will be included in the DFS, but just to give you a flavour, that's one of 15 little targets within the bounds of the special mining licence, and we'll add further ounces, we believe, going forward. So within the bounds of that licence, not just a one-trick pony at Nyanzaga. When we look at the distribution of the gold between Nyanzaga and Kilimani, that's revealed this, what we call this saddle target. There'll be some drilling going into there in the next quarter, and we would look forward to seeing a nice large pit between the two. So ESG goes without saying in today's world. It should have always been there from the beginning. We take it very seriously at all levels, from site through to higher parts of government. And as I say, we're applying the Equator and IFC performance standards to all of our work, and we'll deliver an ESG guided project. So when we look at where we sit undervalued against our peers, we see this as a great investment opportunity. The time taken to get the licence has been annoying, but we're there now, and we're looking forward to build on this steady base as we move forward. So just to wrap up, Tanzania now, it's fair to say it's had a bit of time in the wilderness coming good. We intend to deliver a robust DFS in the September quarter, where we will see a project delivering over 200,000 ounces a year for 10 years. We have a strong board of management and a strong cash balance to boot. Thank you very much for your attention.